All right, guys, it's that time. You are on the Rick Ginn YouTube channel. And today we are talking about AI. And not only are we talking about AI, we're talking about how to do comps, how to do repairs, how to price out anything on properties, and honestly, how to gather anything in an instant. And I got to tell you, we have come a long way from the day I started wholesaling to what you can do now. So what today I specifically want to focus on is how to use AI. And I know me and Zach have shot quite a few of the AI videos, but the beauty of doing live streams is we're going to give you a real-time updates. And if you're just used to using Chat GPT, I'm going to open your eyes today because we've been working really with the newest one. You guys, I'm sure you're going to know about it. And I'm going to show you how you can use it now. And the really cool part is, remember, AI is not going to close people for you. That's your job to do it. But AI is going to help you gather tons of intel. It's going to change how you work with VAs. And honestly, I wouldn't work without the AI technology. Now, you don't have to use it, but I will tell you, if you don't start using this type of technology, you are going to get lost, hands down. Now, here's the big problem is everybody wants to sell you something on AI. And I'm here to tell you, nobody's better than AI than even you are right now. So what you want to do if you are in wholesaling, you want to learn how to use AI specifically for wholesaling, because have you ever noticed suddenly everybody's an expert on AI? Even though it's just relatively new coming out, and I know it's been in the works for a couple of years, but the reality is, as far as a regular use, we're all new to it. So we can do it together. So what you have to do is you have to use real-time live streams, maybe a couple podcasts, stuff like that is the best way to get the information. And I want to know how it specifically applies to wholesaling. So if you guys don't know me, my name is Rick Ginn. I've been wholesaling 21 years, and I got a problem because I love wholesaling. It's what I do. It's who I am. And I'm not going to leave this business. I've yet to leave it, and I never will. I watch waves and waves and waves of gurus and coaches come and go. All of a sudden, wholesaling is not near as exciting as it was as previous a year ago. And suddenly coaches are fading left and right. You know why? Because you guys have choices now. Why not go over to freewholesaling.com and actually get a real education from people that have been doing this business 20 plus years, 27 total years of experience, and get the real deal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go over to freewholesaling.com. I'll post it on the bottom. My name is Rick Ginn. I've been doing this 21 years. You guys know my son, Zach. He started at 16, 17 wholesaling. And my goal with this channel is to teach you how to get started with wholesaling without having all these mirrors and like tricks and, hey, use my AI platform, use my chat robot, and then I'll show you how to do wholesaling for, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000. Honestly, you're just going to come to me at the end. I promise you. So many of these people are just focused on coaching and doing their coaching business. They forgot what got them here in the first place, which was doing a ton of wholesaling deals, which I never forget because that's what I do every day. So you have a comment section. Please use the comment sections. That is a great place to ask questions, introduce yourself, let us know what market you're from. If you don't ask a question, I can't help you out. Also, in the top link under Rick Ginn, I put in there a link. That's our StreamYard link, where if you want to do a one-on-one, you just click on there, jump on there, and if we have time available, I will jump on and do that. So we're talking about AI today. So I would love to have some participation because that's the whole idea of doing these videos. You know they're in real time and you're getting the most up-to-date current information. Now, that being said, I've sat here and played around with this AI thing for months. And honestly, Zach spent more time than I have, but since he runs our wholesaling operation with our employees, we have some real-time data to share with you. So I want to run through you on actually how to use it. So you guys are extremely familiar. Let me pull up my thing here. Oh, by the way, guys, freewholesaling.com. It's rolling on the bottom. If you're brand new to wholesaling, you want to get started, jump on this course. Me and my son created it. It's 100% free. It doesn't cost you a dime. Not only will you get your first wholesale deal, it'll get you to your first 100 grand. And then if you want to step up from there, we'll give you plenty of opportunities to do it there. Guys, this is how I started in wholesaling, and I've never looked back 21 years later. And if you're just starting out, I've never forgotten where I've come from. It's because wholesaling is who I am. I'm never leaving this business. I love it. I do a lot of other pieces of real estate business with it, but in my heart of hearts, what makes me a badass real estate investor is wholesaling. End of story. If I didn't have the wholesaling skill, I'd be just like every other real estate investor combing MLS for deals that doesn't know how to do it. So make sure you go to there. And then guys, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're watching this show, make sure you subscribe to it. It makes a tremendous difference. I take it as a compliment that you enjoy the material that you're receiving, and it helps introduce other like-minded people just like yourself. So share it with someone, let them know what we're doing, and I appreciate it. So let's jump into it, and make sure you comment your questions. So start at freewholesaling.com. That's still going to be better than AI just to get you started in it. And that goes without saying. Now, we've been talking about ChatGPT for a long time. There are some problems with ChatGPT. You guys can put in the comments what you think the problems might be. What's up, guys? I love seeing all the different markets you guys are from, because we do wholesaling all over the country, and then specifically in South Florida. But we keep talking about ChatGPT, and I'm here to tell you that was just the initial kind of little thimble on what's going on with AI. So AI stands for artificial intelligence. The reality is these computers basically take the mind of the entire internet, every recorded document, and assimilates information. The problem with ChatGPT, I'm not going to get into the founders and the politics and all that crap, but they limited it. And here is the severe drawback of ChatGPT is you have 2-year-old data, meaning it will not pull up information for 2021. For that, you got to pay for the premium service. Now, I think it's $20 a month, probably well worth it. But the fact that they're already swinging the sledgehammer right off the bat ain't the greatest sign. So ChatGPT also is mostly fueled off of, see, I'm not going to get into product assimilation here, but it's used by a certain type of company. I believe Microsoft's involved in it heavy like that. And the problem is a lot of that stuff sometimes can be tied to Bing. I'm not like really a Bing person. Listen, I'm not getting into politics of Google, but the reality is Google has the most data and the most information. So ChatGPT still works very well, but it's limited, especially in wholesaling, because the most important thing we need is we need real-time data. The sooner we can get data, the sooner we can make a decision. And one of the biggest problems in our market is we depend on realtors' data that is usually dated 3, if not 6 months before. And this is a project I'm working on right now, so we can get real-time data without trying to get everything 3 months behind. So the problem is the realtors associations are always reporting stuff late because, and honestly, they just manipulate the heck out of the data. So we're going to play around with that today and show you. But here's what I want to show you. I'm going to show you something better than ChatGPT. So if you guys haven't looked it up, let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to roll it out there. It's called Bard. So if you haven't gone there, let me get it's bard.com. I should put it in the notes, but I didn't put it in here. And what I love about Bard is, number one, it's powered by Google. Like them, hate them, whatever. They filter, whatever. It's just, here's the reality of AI. And here's a little bit of pet peeve. Everybody and their mother on Facebook, Instagram is promoting, well, let me show you how to do AI. I've developed a company and I'm going to show you how to do it. It's ridiculous. If you think 1 or 2 or 4 individuals are going to compete with companies like Google, Microsoft, like Elon Musk companies with AI, with tons and tons of experience, with thousands of employees and hundreds of billions of dollars to play with, you're kidding yourself. Do not sign up with these services for these small-time providers. Every now and then they will have something niche, but the reality is the biggest players are fighting for this market, and it's going to wind up I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's $1 trillion grab. It is not going to be the small person that figures out AI. So if you're banking on someone who's trying to do crowdfunding or trying to raise $5 or $10 million to figure out AI, that's not even going to slightly even cover the marketing budget of what AI is going to do. So I've learned quickly with AI, I'm focusing on the big four powerhouses. I'm not even going to go through them, but you know who they are. That is where the bulk of the progress is going to be made in AI. All these little ones are going to get knocked off, eaten up, bought out, and it's going to be, you're not even going to recognize them. So focus on them. So I like bard.com. That's what we're going to focus on today. Why? It's connected directly to the internet. There is no delay. And by the way, it's free. Now, I will tell you this. When you go up to sign, I would love to have you guys do this while you're on the internet right now. Go up and sign up, bar.com. They'll put you on a waiting list. Here's the little thing is, most of the time in 15, 20 minutes, they send you an email and confirm your account, or it can take up to 4 days. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. What I like about it, it's free. It fits our free wholesaling.com mantra. And for that, I love it. So what I want to do is show you how to run through it. So I'm going to give you the bullet points. And then when I'm done with this, I'll jump my screen on Bard and we'll run through it. If you guys have questions, we can do it together. This is why I love doing lives like this, because we can actually work on problems and we can figure out how to make this work together for us better. Now, with Bard, you can pull any property data. I mean, honestly, it's getting, don't get me wrong, I still believe in using our traditional services. Data is very, very important. But specifically, when you need to pull property data, year built, stuff like that, you're getting to the point where you don't even have to enter into the county's property appraiser site. And this is going to be the future of what you see in real estate, specifically in wholesaling, is we can get everything most likely from one portal. Who's going to dominate that in the end? I don't know. So don't worry about it right now, but I'm going to show you how to do this so you can pull property data. I'm also going to show you how you can calculate repair cost for your specific area. This is dynamite for you. Now, we show you manually how to do it with charts in freewholesaling.com, and I would still rely heavily on that. But this is a tool that you can play around, because if I'm going to be doing floors in Arizona, or I want to do floors in Miami, Florida, there's a different cost structure for each market. Once you know the zip code in the city, you can easily calculate that. Some markets are absolutely insane for pricing, and some are like really cheap. This is going to help you figure that out, especially if you're going to do this virtually. And then also, we're going to find government list information, and we're going to help you pull it. So many times you guys are struggling, looking on the internet, trying to find out where to get your government list, what offices to contact, what's the address, what's the phone number, and who's the person in charge. Let's show you how to use AI, specifically Bard, so you can actually pull that information and get to work on getting your list. Because you know, if you don't have a list, you don't have anybody to contact, and it's hard to write contracts if you can't contact motivated sellers. So we always want to look on where we're going to have the most motivation and go from there. So if people just like, I don't know why they like to call when I'm on a live stream, but it's kind of funny. So those are some deals I'm working on, I promise you. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is share my screen here. And let's see here. Yeah, so I said his wait list was 3 minutes. So I don't know why they do the wait list thing. Here, I'm going to put it in the comments right here. I believe it's bard.com. I put it on there. Check it out. Get on there. It's free. If you have to pay, you're probably in the wrong one, and check it out with it. So let's do this. I'm going to add this to the stream. This is what it's going to look like. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. It's very similar. It'll keep a log on it. And remember, AI is all about asking the best quality questions and keep refining your questions. So it's like if you were interrogating a person. Say you were chasing someone out, trying to figure if their alibi checked out. Say, John, where were you on the 5th Tuesday at 10 p.m. at night? And he gives you an answer. And then you keep deep diving and refining your search and focus on the piece of information you either think is the truth or false. And that's the same thing that basically AI works. So what I want to do is walk through several examples for you. And if you guys have a question, you can put it in the comments. I'll happily plug this in for you and we can play around with it. So guys, pick a market and tell me which one you want to do the median price, and I will plug it in for you. So let's see here. How will this work? As far as like non-disclosure states, you're still going to have some issues with it, but I think AI is going to actually help circumvent some of that. We'll have to see a time. Remember, we're doing this in real time. So let's do, somebody put on here, let's do Miami, Florida. God knows that's going to be a high one. What is average home sales price in Miami, Florida? You just give it a second. I'm going through. The average home in Miami is $560,000 as of March 2023, up 6.7 from previous year. Median sale price $446 per square foot. So I want you to understand AI is not perfect. So if you read this sentence, it doesn't even make sense. The housing market in Miami is not very competitive, with homes receiving 2 offers on average and selling in 76 days. Maybe they're comparing it to the last like 5 years where it was highly competitive. They would get 15 offers and sell it in less than 30 days. So that can tell you that inventory is going up. But what you can do is just, you can specifically, now if I wanted to narrow this down, there's not much more to narrow it down on there. And I want to make it aware. So let's do this. I copied and pasted some of these in here for you, so I didn't have to sit there and type, so I can actually talk to you guys. Let's, instead of doing Dallas, Texas, let's do in let's do it in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, here's the deal. What do you think the least valuable zip code in Atlanta? What does that mean? I don't know. This is how you have to play around when you go in the AI. You got to have like, you got to go in with a playful mind. So right here, the least valuable zip code in Atlanta is 30310. The median home price is $60,000. So those of you that are saying, I can't find a house under $220,000, I'm giving you a shortcut here. Now, they're telling you the average income is $25,000. So if you look at those numbers, and here's what I say, which of these, let's do this. Correlate the crime rates for these zip codes. So you can continue to keep asking Bard refining questions. So it's going to take those. So it's not going to let me do it, of course. Unable to help. I was only in a language model. So what I'll do is sometimes you just copy and paste them. Copy, paste. What are the Oh, it started spitting it out, additional details. So it was still thinking. So I'm trying to run over AI while it's typing in here. Crime stats for, I'll pick 2 of them, 30316 area. I'm sorry, not area code, zip codes. Let's see if it pops it up. So what you can do is you can keep going and going. So if you look at violent crime rate, so you can do a comparison now. So if you want to go to these zip codes, you know what you're kind of getting into. Violent crime is what we really look at, and you look at total crime. but it's pretty high for the zip code, hence the lower prices. So what I'm telling you is you just keep on asking questions like this. Now, if you ask it dumb questions, you're going to get dumb answers. I'm just going to forewarn you. So if you go over to freewholesaling.com, a lot of these questions that I'm even plugging in here, I'm playing around with you. I'm just changing them up a little bit for you so you can get an idea what's going on. So let's do this one. Let's do this. Corey wants to know. Oh, we're going to look for the past month. Let's do this for we haven't 2023. And it's thinking. And remember, the more you play with this, the better the questions you're going to come up. So here's Knoxville, Tennessee. Home sales are expected to decline 10% over year. Guys, once again, it's just taking information from the internet. So you can't use this as like, this is factual stuff. Home sales are expected to decline. So you have to read it. Home sales, but home prices are expected to increase. So what does that mean? It could mean tighter inventory, less to choose from. They do higher prices, but there's less sales, maybe because the mortgage rates. Inventory is expected to remain low. Rental prices are expected to increase 4%. So obviously, we know where Corey is. You guys can do this for your own market is what I'm telling you. We're getting intel now that honestly, you would have to have a VA scrape for hours to get you this information. Now, you have to read the information and sometimes you have to proof it up. But like I could go on all day doing this stuff. So you have to keep pressing along. Let me give you a couple other examples, like different type of stuff that you can do with it. One thing that we've never, ever known as real estate investors, we never, ever know like how many rentals are in an area. So let me give you an idea. So you guys know what market I'm in. So I'll just go ahead and plug my market in because you guys always think I'm running you guys under the bus. In the Port St. Lucie. What zip code has the most rental properties? So my God, I might as well just give you my marketing sheet, but I got nothing to hide from you, so I don't care. This is how I do it. So I already knew this by heart because I've been doing this 21 years. 1,115 properties in this one zip code. Median rent's 2,400, and then it'll just keep on ripping through each one of them, what the average price on each one of them is. 3, 4. Yeah. One of my favorite ones are like right in the middle. 800. I mean, guys, look at this information that you can get. It's insane what the information you can get off of this. So we talked about doing, let's do this one. Guys, give me a state you want to get some information on. Who's up next here? I'm not going to do Los Angeles because that's kind of like a killer on there. So let's do North Carolina. Let's see here. North. Watch this. Based on Google Maps, what areas in North Carolina are the most updated from Street View? Now, this is a more detailed question. And then it just goes on and on. And what I love about it is you can keep asking it. You put this information in a spreadsheet. Might not be able to. Let's see. You know I'm doing this live. Well, that's not the greatest spreadsheet. It's more like a pivot table. But you guys that are better with computer programming, coding, and stuff like that, it's amazing what you can do. Now, I will be honest with you, ChatGPT has built-in plugins that you can use specifically for pivot tables and spreadsheets. And if you're just specifically going to do a number, it works really well. Also, if I'm buying a home for $200,000, 5% down, mortgage rate of 6% for 30 years. What is the monthly payment? So you can do calculations on this just typing it right in there. Watch this. Look, 1,061. So if you're doing like a creative financing deal and you're working with someone and say you wanted to do 200,000, they're going to put down 5%, and you're going to do 6%, you're going to do a lot higher anyways. You can calculate a monthly thing right on your phone while you're sitting in front of people. Guys, I usually had to go in the calculator, go to like a amortization. Give me the amortization schedule for this. So I'm asking a question, and look, it gives you the whole thing, year 1, year 2, year 3, and you can go on, and it'll give you all the way to the end. Guys, you can make custom charts for your sellers if you need to get help with this and that. Now, let's do this. You guys we're always telling you to focus in on the population and get the best price possible. So this is where the power of AI comes in. So I'm going to get out of Florida because you all think I'm just doing my market here. Let's do Alabama. A lot of the questions you guys are asking about your market, you can now like do a real-time search and get real information. So right here. So we basically ask what areas are the cheapest to buy in Alabama with a population over 100,000. If you guys are searching for virtual markets, I'm giving you a roadmap. Look at this. Dothan, median price 135,000. I got to tell you guys, Alabama is wonderful. I believe there's no state income tax unless it's changed. It doesn't really snow. It snows a tiny, tiny bit. It's nice and sunny, warm weather, and it is a favorable place people are moving to because number one, it's affordable. They like the taxes and they like the weather. It doesn't take rocket scientists to figure out what places to find. Guys, Florida used to be this place 2-3 years ago. And now people are starting to see Florida filling up and they're pushing back up. So it's like the plumbing's backing up. And like Alabama, the Carolinas, all these places are starting to really become attractive. I could go on and on this stuff all day long. I promise you I'm going to do the lives on here. So guys, this tool is called bard.com. It's powered by Google. In the top of the comment section, somewhere there under my name, you can do it. It's 100% free. It connects you with the internet. There is no delay. It's not like ChatGPT, and it's free. They might ask you to do a waiting list. Usually it takes about 15-20 minutes just to let you know what their little hitch is. I've had it take as long as 4 days. That's as long as it takes. So I'm showing you how to use something other than ChatGPT. And as me and Zach progress in wholesaling with AI, we're going to keep updating you on the tools and everything you can do with that. So Let me try this. So what I like about any AI is you can continue to keep asking quality questions. So it's like getting a cheat sheet from the teacher themselves. So right there, there's your chart. I mean, I can't make it any easier for this for you. It's absolutely insane. You can do pivot tables, you can do spreadsheets, you could do pie graphs, you could do anything. But this is just one state, guys. You can go research. So my suggestion is go over to freewholesaling.com, try to find the areas that you're looking for, especially if you're looking to do virtual wholesaling, and start asking these questions and get granular specific in your questions as you keep asking it. This is a way to make it work. I wanted to show you this one. We talk about doing rehabs, which I told you in the title here. Now I'm going to be a little bit more specific. So let's see. Let's do Indianapolis. Guys, and what I'm telling you is you go back and watch this one. You can copy what I'm doing and you can just play around with it because this is the beauty of it. So here's what I'm going to do. It's a property we just... So what we're going to do is I like to get a specific Indian. So the best way to get pricing on anything, home price or anything, going to be by zip codes. So I'm just picking a random zip code here for Indianapolis because I only have so much time. 46107 is the winner. I probably can't spell it. Indian. Nope, of course I can't spell it. Hold on. See, this is AI and it's best for us. Indianapolis. Zip code. What was that zip code I was saying here? 46107. 46107. $1,500. Oh, what would be the cost of a new roof, kitchen updating, new hardware flooring for Indianapolis, zip code 46107, based on the square footage? Now, if you're doing this virtually, it's a good starting point. Is this going to be completely accurate? No, but it'll give you some generalizations and you kind of have to adjust it from there. But it's a good starting point, especially for roofs. If I just want to do a specific roof, so it's going to tell you the roof on this between 6 and 10,000, kitchen 10 and 20, hardwoods between 3 and 5. Now, they're telling you it's anywhere from 19 to 35K. Listen, we all can make assumptions on that. You know how houses are. They're very specific. But you can figure out now general painting cost, inside, outside. So what is the cost to paint exterior for this property? Now, it might not be able to assimilate it because I'm using the word property now, and you've got to understand how AI talks with language on it. So on the outside, they're telling me between 2 and 6 grand. Now, you know, 6 grand's excessive. I would say in Indianapolis is probably closer to 2,000, maybe 2,500, depending on if it's on a first floor. 6 grand would maybe if it's 2 floors and like a custom paint job, but that's not completely accurate when you do that. So let's see what else I have on here. So we can also ask specifically about real estate markets. Let me pick another market here. Let's see what you guys got. Let's do South. Well, let's see here. I got to get everybody in order. I did Miami. There is a state income tax, Venus says, in Alabama. Well, it's still 135K. It's still a good deal. You got plenty of money to pay your state income tax. So let's do the state of Virginia. What is the state market statistics for Virginia in the last 6 months? And remember, your first question is usually not the best one. It's the follow-up questions that really give you the best data on this. So this just gives me a quick snapshot, and it'll tell you the average price points. They're up 10.3, the number of homes sold, which is down. So we notice a trend in most of the markets. Sales are down, but prices are up. Rentals are up, and supply is still low. And you're seeing this across the board in the country. There are pockets where they're having issues, but for the most part, everything I'm seeing across the board is like this. But here's the problem, guys. A lot of this information is lagging. It can be as much as 3 to 4 months. So the idea is AI gets smarter and we get better as wholesalers. We can cut that 3 months down to 2 months and then maybe down to like 40 or 45 days. You're never going to get it less because every company, including my company, when I report the books, is you need 30 days to close to the books, and then you need at least 7 to 10 days to process it. Now, if you have an in-house person, but most of us have off-site bookkeeping, and then this is how companies work. Now, the realtors don't do us a lot of favors when they do this stuff, and you've got to understand that this is how AI works. Why am I showing you this, guys? Because if you don't figure out AI now, you're going to get lost in the shuffle. I think AI is going to be critical in everything we do because we're going to get much faster data. It's going to be much easier to get. And where do I see this all going? I would only trust the biggest source to get the data. I like Bard. I like Chat GPT. There's like a host of, there is a whole slew of them coming out. But here's the problem is the latest wave of coaches and gurus want to tell you how to use all this AI. If you pay them, they'll show you how to do it. Guys, they don't know any more than you do. You've got to be crazy to pay someone to consult AI for wholesaling because it's completely untested. And it's whatever you pay them, it'll be dead in 30 days. So do not buy someone's system based on an AI or like a chat bot. And by the way, the one thing that's going to get annihilated in AI is going to be people's apps. Apps are going to get destroyed. So from a guy who's developed an app, they're very, very expensive. I paid over 65 grand to develop one simple app. It's a long time ago. Not long time ago, but long enough. And they cost a lot of money. Most apps are pretty much going to be wiped off the face of the earth, meaning AI is going to make it so much more flow, so much quicker. And I'm just telling you, when you look at your apps, you've got to understand how AI is going to affect it. So when you're signing up something like, okay, is this going to stay or is it going to go? And anything that seems like super flashy and like really, oh my God, it seems so cool, don't buy it because that's the stuff that gets you killed in wholesaling. If you get the shiny object syndrome, you're going to get killed. Remember, AI just helps you get to the customer faster and gives answers faster. And it will eliminate some of your off staffing like VAs and stuff like that. And you'll get more real-time information. What it won't do is that final conversation with the seller, having that hard talk, going for no and negotiating with them. Somebody tried to send me, I got it the other day. It was through social media and basically said, with our program, which by the way, it was over $5,000 because you had to do a phone interview. They have an AI that will find the properties for you, ready for this, and negotiate the whole thing for you. You don't have to do anything. Just go to the beach, sip your margaritas. Your whole business is done. Guys, wake up to what's going on in the world. It's absolutely ridiculous with that stuff. So this is my thing on AI. This is bard.com. Just go there. There's a waiting list. You'll get in like 15 minutes. I don't guarantee it, but most likely, and it's free. And start going through and asking the questions like I'm asking, because I could sit here and like do this stuff all day, but I'd rather just be able to talk with you guys direct. So if you want to come on a live and ask a specific question, we can do it together, but you don't need me to do all this stuff. If you want to figure out the best route or the best locations to put up bandit signs, find the busiest streets that has some traffic where you can put signs up and figure it out. If you want to figure out how to go over a specific objection with a seller, I would go to freewholesaling.com first, but you can now do research and collect. Guys, there's only 6 objections you're ever going to get on a wholesale deal. I'll tell them to you, or you can use AI and help assimilate the information alone. I did not invent the objections, and I did not invent on how to overcome the objections. I just got more experience than most people. I love when people claim they figured everything out and they're the sole founder of it. Well, I guess they've been on, I guess they were here when Adam and Eve got like invented, because that's the only way you could take credit for it. We all pass stuff down. The idea is we make it better for each generation, just like your parents did, hopefully for you. And if not, you make it better for your kids. And that's how it needs to work. So let's jump out. If you got any questions, go ahead and pop questions on there. I will take questions. And I'm going to take the first question here. What's the best state to start virtually wholesaling? Honestly, it's the state you pick. So number one, go through freewholesaling.com. We actually give you recommendations, and check out the YouTube channel on Flip with Rick Ginn, and Zach Ginn. And then we give you all, I mean, I've done so many videos on this, and I just taught you how to use AI so you can do the research on your own. But remember, you got to verify some of the information, but the main thing is just to get started. So I teach you a technique on reverse engineering where you can use other wholesalers and use their ego and easily tap into the market. Go check that out. I show you how to do that. So, so Adrian says, can you make more videos on what to do on seller appointments? You have some. So let me clarify. I have over 100. I don't have some. I have over 100 on file. So, and keep in mind, I've been doing this 21 years. You have one tomorrow. Would like to be as sharp as possible. So Adrian, let me tell you this. The main thing is use your 2 ears first. Listen to your seller. Listen to their problems. And make sure you have an upfront agreement with them. Otherwise, you're going to wind up in the maybe, let me think about it land, and you're never going to get an answer. And at the end of the day, be yourself, be brutally authentic, and help people. I don't need any more Grant Cardones in the world, although I do like Grant Cardone, full disclosure, but the Grant Cardone sales method does not work in wholesaling. It does not. We are not selling slick brand new cars here. Okay. We're looking for people that need to sell a house, and we typically avoid the ones that want to sell the house, because trying to convert someone that wants to sell their house to a need is a physical impossibility. You are going to play realtor if you do that. So keep that in mind, but just be confident in yourself, because if you're going to help somebody and you know your numbers, it's pretty straightforward. So, Kara, what's the app you mentioned that does all the, it doesn't exist. It's a BS app. So the app's $5,000. You get a 6-week program, and you are going to wind up trying to figure out wholesaling after it, and you're going to be out $5,000. Guys, there's no app for negotiation. It doesn't work that way. Negotiating is what the words that come out of your mouth and the response from your seller. That's what a negotiation is. You just got to figure out how to build rapport, how to have the right conversation, and how to make a lower offer without getting kicked out or being insulted, and actually get to a deal. There is no app that's ever going to do this for you. I promise you, if it does, we're all out of a job. We're all out of wholesaling, because computers will just negotiate with each other and we won't be existing. So I wish it was that easy, but the reality is, would you click a button and just sell your biggest asset with no questions asked? It's very, very rarely. So, okay, let's jump on a live. What's up, Xavier? You've been patient, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Zach? I mean, Rick, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I take it as a compliment, man. I'm 53, man. My son's 30 years the younger version of me.
I'm used to talking to Zach. I talked to both of y'all, though. So I had a question.
All right, man. What's going on?
Really about the code violation. I got a couple of questions. So I pulled the code violation list a while back, and I just applied for the other one, like to get the updated one. So I was just wondering, like, should I go back? It goes back all the way to like 2022 and like way back, like 2008. I'm thinking like, yeah, don't go that far back. But I'm thinking I have from February 16, 2023 all the way to, yeah.
I would focus on 2023. You really going back further than 90 days. Like some of them get solved, all sorts of like, and you just kind of like waste your time. A code violation has the most effectiveness when they're like recent.
Right.
So remember, a homeowner gets it, they get upset. It's a pretty nasty notice if you've ever seen it. And they're given 30 days to correct it. That's the perfect time they connect with a wholesaler, especially if they want to sell the property.
Right.
6 months to a year ago, dude, they forgot about it.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't correct it, they go, they're not going to do anything anyways.
Yeah.
So that urgency when they have to go in front of the magistrate and have a hearing, if they can bring a contract, they can actually skip that entire process. So I wouldn't go much, like the farthest, maybe 6 months if you're in a small little rural town and you have to do it. But like 90 days, man, fresh date is everything. You want to get them when they get that notice, because there's a certain type of person. There's two types of people in code violation. There's a person that goes, oh, well, I don't care. Like, I got a lot of bad things going on in my life. This isn't a priority. And the other person goes, oh my God, I can't believe I got this. This is absolutely nuts. How do I fix this? This is terrible. And that's it. And they've been thinking about selling the house. They don't want to put the fence back up. The yard's growing over. And if you hit them with the perfect timing, that's when a wholesaler works out the best. So if you go back too far, they're ineffective and they're a waste of time, in my opinion. But every now and then you can find someone to do it. I used to do that with the probates, and I found out anything after 30 days was a waste of my time. We never got a deal anything past 30 days, ever.
It makes sense.
Ever.
Yeah, that's why I want to get the updated list too. So
yeah, so co-violation, listen, it's hands down probably one of my most favorite lists. It got me through 10 years of wholesaling. Honestly, a majority of my deals came from code violations because I got so good at it.
Right.
And I didn't have a lot of other people doing it. So I had a little bit of competitive advantage and I ran with it.
Yeah.
But I would always go with the freshest ones. And then because you're going to find out once somebody gets on a code violations, there's people that get on and off right away.
Yeah.
And there's people who just stay on it forever. They don't care.
Right.
So like after I market everybody once, but once I see the same person on there, I see a person on there that's been on like, I think 15 years since I've been doing it.
Dang.
They're not going to sell me the property.
Yeah.
So I don't worry about it. So I would stick like 90 days at most.
Okay. And then also my market really has a lot of, I know you guys don't really do, well, I was talking to you guys before when I was in school, but you guys said the deal has to be good to be an on-market property. And my market has a lot of on-market properties. When I'm driving for dollars, I see a lot of them. So I'm trying to figure out how should I go about that.
So ask the question again, because I heard 3/4 of it. And
I was saying, like, how should I go about dealing with realtors, basically?
So what state are you in?
I'm in Michigan, that Fernie Town, Kalamazoo, and Grand Rapids. So
I love Kalamazoo.
Those are my
I've done deals in Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
So when you're doing driving for dollars, are you looking at properties that have issues that have realtor signs in them?
Yes, a lot of them are run down, but they are listed with the realtor. But if not, I've been looking at, I haven't did reverse driving for dollars yet because I've been using my mom's car, but I'm working on getting a car. So like, I'm really trying to, I want to do reverse driving for dollars on the code violations. I feel like that'll give me a more advantage kind of.
So listen, if it's got a realtor sign in there, so it's a realtor and you're doing driving for dollars, you might as well look it up and see what the realtor is even offering it for. And then just see if it's even going to pass the snuff test.
Right.
So if a property's worth like 30 grand and the realtor's got it listed for 99 and you drove by it and it's a piece of junk, I don't even know if I'm going to waste my time with that realtor.
Right, exactly.
Because either the realtor's crazy or the homeowner's crazy, or worse, they're both crazy.
Yeah.
And so honestly, if they're out of whack, I'll just put a sign on the door. And as long as you don't talk directly to the realtor, if the homeowner reaches out to you, it's fair game to talk to them.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you got to call my realtor. I just say, listen, just how long have you had it listed for? You should already know the answer.
Right.
And I always just say, listen, when do you want to get this thing sold? And just find out when the listing expires, because I don't understand realtors that list like piece of junk houses and put like crazy prices on it. I just don't get it. So me personally, I like to go with the realtors I have to in Florida. But I always give realtor one shot. And then after that, if it's like a piece of junk property, it's on the market a long time.
Yeah.
I have no problem reaching out to the homeowner, but that's where the reverse driving for dollars kind of covers your butt. because you didn't really circumvent it. Just say, listen, somebody stuck a sign on the door, but hey, why I got you on the phone? Did you want to get that house sold?
Right.
And then just make a note in your file. If they have remember, the realtor's their problem, not yours.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guarantee you, if you contact them, they're frustrated with the realtor. Now, some of them will run you under the bus and give your name to the realtor. I really don't care. But if it just went on the market a day or two, I'm not probably going to waste my time doing it. I'm going to wait. I like to wait I like to let a property soak and based for like 60 days. If 100 days is even better. Because after that, the kind of the market's told them like, it ain't going to happen. Like, are you ready to cut a deal?
Lord.
So what do you got to lose really on a property like that? If it's really ugly and nasty,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
picked it up driving for dollars, just be creative but be respectful to the realtor. And then like, even when you even if you're going to call the homeowner, go, listen, I'm confused here. Is this your property? What is it? Should I speak to the realtor or I have you on the phone? Can I just talk to you directly?
Okay.
There's nothing illegal about doing that, guys. You're not a realtor. By the way, for those of you thinking to get your realtor's license, you can't do that little switcheroo. You get in big trouble.
So you
You
can't
can do it.
wholesaling and like being a realtor.
So if you get your real estate license, you legally cannot contact the homeowner when the property is listed on the market. You can't. Like, you'll get fined for it.
That makes sense.
You'll be told on. So I've always like, listen, if the property comes on my radar, and especially driving for dollars, I'll either do reverse driving for dollars or I'll call up the homeowner and go, listen, hey, I saw that property. I go, what's going on with it?
Yeah.
And if they don't want to speak about the realtor, I act like I don't even know it's listed. And I just go about my business. So I treat it like it's not listed first, unless it just went on the market yesterday. And
Right.
then every now and then you're going to get a realtor call you. How dare you call my client? Hey, you have the house listed? And
Yeah.
I just talked to him. I go, what are you guys waiting for? Why haven't you sold it yet? And 9 times out of 10, the realtor doesn't know what they're doing, or they overtalk the homeowner. So I love talking to the homeowner, because sometimes I've had homeowners go, listen, I just want to sell it. I want to
Right.
sell it. Can you
Exactly.
talk to my realtor for me? I'm like, because at the end of the day, if you do cut a deal with the homeowner, who pays the realtor?
Me.
The homeowner does. It's not your problem.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Now, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna go just like this. Xavier, who's going to pay for the realtor? Because I'm not. I'm like, well, I'm certainly not. I didn't hire the realtor.
Right.
Well, listen, it's between you and the realtor. I really have nothing to do with it. You didn't sign an agreement with the realtor. You don't owe an explanation to anybody.
Exactly.
But you try to be respectful. People are trying to make a living. Sometimes homeowners are really bad and they way over list the house. Or sometimes the realtors go, listen, give me 3 months and I'll get it sold for you when people want to get them sold quickly. But if they're on your driving for dollars list, just just call. Like, who cares, right?
Exactly.
Why would a realtor list a property that's that run down, right? It
Right.
needs help. And it's probably not going to sell on MLS. It's going to need a cash buyer. So, and then when you get caught, go, listen, just why I got you on the phone, what do you realistically need to get for that house? Well, I got it listed for $89,900. I go, okay, well, if you fix it up, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, really, what do you need to get this thing done? And I just go into it and start talking to them. I don't care. It's a numbers game.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. That's really it. Thanks.
Yeah, dude, the driving for dollars, guys, if it comes up, I don't care if it's listed with a realtor or not. It shouldn't look like that if it's coming up in your list. If it's perfectly clean, it's got a realtor sign, I'm out the window. I don't want to deal with it. But if it's coming up on your list, it's a good thing. If I told you how many properties I've bought with realtor signs sitting in the yard, I could have cared less. And so I'm thinking when I did my original driving for dollars, I could care less. And my favorite one, Xavier, is when the realtor sign fell over.
Oh yeah.
And the weeds grew over the top of it. I'm like,
I seen one of those yesterday.
and I go, listen, I couldn't find your realtor sign. Is it in the property still? When's the last time you went out there to check on it? And I just say stuff like that. But just so you know, 95% of the time when you talk directly with a realtor on that type, it goes nowhere. It's just a waste of time.
Okay.
And then what you can do, though, is you can leverage the homeowner if they want to work with the realtor. But remember, they have to pay the realtor. Or a wise homeowner will decide to end their agreement with the realtor. That's the one thing you never tell them to do. Don't end your agreement with the realtor. It's none of your business. You don't like, hey, listen, if you decide to get rid of the realtor and you want to sell it quick, give me a call back.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's how I leave it with them. So
okay. And then
you got it, man.
Yeah, one more thing.
Yes.
So when you first started out, I see Zach, he always talks about you guys did part-time at first. what's your best advice? Because I'm finishing barber school right now. I just got out of college. Well, I didn't graduate, but I finished my first 2 semesters, and I'm not feeling it. So I'm just like trying to.
So how old are you?
I'm 19 right now.
Okay. So dude, you number one, A plus for what you're doing.
Yeah.
So what's like what is your plan?
So really, my plan is, if I do stay in college, I'm in business and economics, and then my minor is real estate development. So I really want to get into commercial real estate. I feel
Okay.
like foundation.
So I'm going to tell you flat out because I'm going to give you the truth. The guy I spent 12 years in a corporate job. I hated every day of it that I went to college for.
Yes.
College is nothing more than an extension of grade school. You know that, right?
Exactly. It's just high school.
So here's the exceptions to college. And keep in mind, both my children have gone to college.
Yep.
I told them to get through it as fast as you humanly possibly can and don't pay for it. Have somebody else, if you can have somebody else pay for it with your grades, academics, scholarships, grants, go for it. Just get through it as fast as you can. Go through the summers, double down, whatever you got to do. If you're going for architect, engineering, medical, I know I'm probably missing one other one in there.
Yeah,
That's it. What's that?
I said lawyers.
Lawyers. There you go. That was the one. Those are colleges are now trade schools for those 4 trades.
Okay.
If you're not going for those 4 trades, honestly, I'm not sure what anyone goes to college for anymore. And I went to college. All my kids went to college. My wife went to college. The world has changed. Colleges are so far behind. And we're talking about AI today. Colleges are going to be left in the dust. Somebody graduates with a marketing degree. I might as well take somebody out of high school because all I care about is your work ethic and your attitude. So if you're talking about doing real estate and specifically commercial development, stuff like that, I promise you, I'm biased. There's nothing that you would do better interning or working at a lower wage job for a big company.
Right.
You would get more in 2 years than you're ever going to get out of 4 or 5 years out of college.
Exactly.
And you will have a leg in to work your way up and do whatever you want. But the beauty about real estate, commercial, all that, you don't have to work for these big corporations anymore. You just need to get 2 or 3 decent projects on your belt and you can make a ton of money. I have 3 of them under my belt. It took me 10 years of wholesaling before I figured out even how to do that. College didn't teach me one dang thing about it ever. All I got was theory. That's
Right.
it. So how I really got started in real estate is I started negotiating long-term leases for a company.
Yeah.
But you want to hear the kicker, Xavier? They gave me 0 training. I had to figure it out all on my own. So I went and studied and I figured it out and I got really good at it. And I said, why don't I just start buying houses? And that's when I did it. I said, I would buy a house. I'd live in it a year. I'd turn around, I'd roll the taxes up. And I kept going. And I eventually started making more money with the houses than I did in my business that I was working 80 hours a week with. And then I decided, what if I figured out how to do a lot of houses? And that's how I found wholesaling. And then I just ran with it. But keep in mind, I worked for a company 12 years to figure out how to do that. And I went to college 6 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
I gave up a huge part of my life. I didn't get crank until I was 33, 34. So specifically on what you're doing, I'm just telling you, the college is so far behind. It's not going to give you practical real-time world information to help you with it. Now, if you were going to get a college degree and you want to go through it, just go get your finance degree because finance, they work through the numbers but honestly, you can learn a lot of that stuff on the internet now. Guys, listen, college is just not what it used to be. I'm sorry.
It's
And
not.
if you're going for marketing college, unless you want to go work for Walmart or like one of the big companies and earn 80, 90 grand a year, but pretty much you're going to cap out of that. You're never going to make more money than that. You're going to make a little bit more each year and you're going to get 2 weeks vacation. It's torture. Guys, I can make that in 1 month in wholesaling. And I prove it every day. And I'm so,
All right.
You're so young.
Yeah.
Just so you understand what me and Zach talk about, like the Matrix, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to escape.
Everybody is completely brainwashed. Like, let me go and I'm going to work. I'm going to go to my desk. And even though you go 8 hours, you're only going to put in 2 hours. And then people start drinking Thursday, Friday. They get the groove on. Then maybe you go on a cruise, have a good vacation. I gotta tell you, dude, to put $1 million in the bank, it's like an unbelievable feeling. And honestly, $1 million is it's not a lot of money anymore. Like I'm just gonna tell you frankly, I know when you're young, it sounds like, but $1 million today, $1 million 10, 20 years ago is like 15 million today. It's crazy.
Yeah, you guys are scared of $1 billion business. I see it.
Yeah, but you've got to people don't understand you've got to put in your time. You got to just learn. And I'm just telling you, you're not going to now you do get some networks out of college. I will not take it away from that. I met some very powerful people that we thought alike in college, but we never really connected till like 15 years later. So unless you're going to college for one of the trade schools we talked about earlier, I don't know how you're ever going to get ahead doing that. You're better off just diving in and finding someone. Dude, I get people all the time go, "Hey, Rick," I have people all the time to this day go, they'll come to me and say, "Hey, can we just like work with you? I'll do anything." You know how many people tell me that? You know how many people actually do anything though? It's very few.
Yeah.
Because I've given probably 50 opportunities. Now I do have people that have worked out. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, when people say they'll do anything, they don't even know what anything is. And so, if you want a life of full abundance, to be completely happy and do whatever you want and have freedom of your time, you have to pay a price early. I didn't pay my price till my mid to late 30s because I didn't figure it out. So once you understand how the matrix works, you can make a decision. Either you can, so most people just want to be average and just get by and like look to their neighbors and see if they're competing with them. If you're okay, like skipping that, the amount of money and the things you can do in this world are unbelievable. And now today with the internet, I would never, ever have a I would never have a retail store, like an office. And especially after we saw what happened with the pandemic, you got to be crazy to run business. I don't know how people run. I love a good restaurant. Don't get me wrong, but I would never, ever own one. They're just the riskiest things in the world. Alcohol, people's temper, food, expensive real estate. Why would you do it? So if you decide to skip the matrix and you understand it, just understand it's going to be a little bit frustrating and you're going to have to do stuff that your friends are all out partying. And you just learn from Zach, from the time Zach was 14 to right about now, he completely skipped the matrix, like completely. And I will tell you, it only takes 2 years though. It doesn't take 5. It doesn't take 10. It takes 2 years. So I think it's a great idea to do wholesaling, to learn your skill set on how to talk to people, because when you do commercial development or even commercial real estate, it's the exact same thing. You're just dealing with a different set of sellers. That's it. And then you just got to learn how to forge relationships with people. But the problem is most people want to go, well, I want to hang with my friends. I want to do the vacations. I want to have a good time on the weekend. You can't have it both. You got to decide which one you want to do. And the earlier you decide, the better. And if you truly want it, you'll absolutely go out and get it. And I would look at people like, Tony Robbins has an event, UPW, Unleash the Power Within. He does them online now.
Okay.
I got to tell you, man, he's one of the guys that sent me over there. He put this thought in my head at 18, 19, but the problem is it took me 15 years to execute it.
Right.
So I'm taking what I struggled with 15 years and trying to tell you right now. Make a decision and run with it. Period. You're so young, you can do whatever you want in your life, dude. I would do anything to trade spots with you, by the way. I'm just talking age-wise.
Yeah.
Because the stuff I know now is like unbelievable if you can just apply and do the work. But if you don't want average, you don't want to like what all your friends are, and you will stop caring what other people think about you, you are completely unstoppable in this world. And I always tell people, start with a basic Tony Robbins thing. You can do it for free online. Yeah. The man just tells you you are only limited by what you think, period, end of story. Now, I will tell you, wholesaling is hard work. Yeah, and that's where a lot of people, that's where all the gurus try to tell you, oh, it's not hard work. It's really easy. No, you got to put in the work. Zach's first year was, he just kind of looked at me sideways. But all I did was when Zach wrestled in high school, I say, listen, it can't be any worse than what those people did to you your freshman year. Right. And he got his butt kicked his freshman year. I got killed in wrestling my first year. And that's how the real world works. So I want you to understand, you've got decisions to make. But remember, where are your parents on this journey?
They believe it, really. Like Zach said, his mom, your wife thinks he's the coolest. So it's like it doesn't matter what nobody else thinks about me, but
Yeah.
as long as they believe in me, I mean, do it.
Dude, 2 years, you can make more than 98% of your friends if you'll put 2 years in.
Yeah.
And you know what the reality is? Those 2 years, you might not make a lot of money.
Right.
So the problem is, like, when I started, like, the average salary when I started was 35 to 40 grand.
Mhm.
And it's like, we're all trying, it's just like 35 to 40 grand. I'm like, I do it in a deal now. It's like, and I learned even back then when money was worth a lot. I do 30, 40, $50,000 flips. And like, my friends thought I was like a drug dealer. They literally go, I don't know what Rick does. I think he's doing something illegal.
Yeah.
Automatically, I was the villain. I didn't do it. I helped people out. I bailed people out of situations. And I'm telling you, be that person that you can do. And then once you learn how to earn money, Xavier, you're going to have to learn how to keep it. That's another journey. Because if you can make sacrifices and invest in assets that pay you, then you don't have to work anymore. The way Zach does it right now, Zach technically doesn't have to work another day in his life. But how many kids from the age like 15, 16 to like 23 just invest in themselves and nothing else? It's hard. I didn't do it. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm here to tell you, man, I went out and had a lot of fun. I did a lot of stupid things. Do not make college the best years of your life, because if those are the best years of your life, you're in big trouble.
Exactly.
That should be like some of the best friendships you have. But for the most part, and I urge you guys all the time, is if you can take college online and live at home and not waste stupid living expenses, do it. Because the worst thing you do is get that college debt. And if you think Biden's going to forbid everybody on their college debt, it's like a big scam ran on this country. Even if they forgive the debt, it's just people keep signing up these tuitions that goes crazy. So I think you're right onto it. If you decide you want to get out of the matrix, dude, make that decision. Just find the vehicle you want to do. Wholesaling is a wonderful vehicle. You just got to figure out how to get into it and get it going. Barbershop, everybody needs a good haircut. That's one of my favorite places to go. But that's a skill that will live with you forever. So you just got to make decisions on what you want to do and what's going to make you happiest. But remember, Xavier, you're in a world where things aren't cheap anymore. And the way your parents grew up and the way I grew up initially, a lot of those options are not given to you anymore. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Life is super ridiculous. I showed my daughter what like the cost of the groceries. Like, oh my God. She goes, that's just 1 week. I'm like, yeah. She goes, I could never afford this stuff. I go, I know. Figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys got to understand, man. We're in a different world. You can't do like what your parents did, because I used to be able to, you could work 2 jobs and easily support having an apartment, having a car and everything. Now you could not have a car and an apartment on today's like average part-time jobs. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So, and AI, we talk about AI, it's going to wipe out 60% of the common workforce. So you're going to have to use your brain and really think about creative ways. So that's what I love about America. Capitalism is awesome. That's why wholesaling is so fascinating. But if you want to get in real estate, start out, if you could master wholesaling, what you'll do in the commercial will blow your mind away, because it's all about financing. So the only degree I got in college, and I took too long to get, was financing.
Okay.
And to this day, I still actually kind of use it, but it's you can't really change financing. It's like they're pretty much set numbers. And I like to evaluate stocks and stuff. I thought I was going to be a stockbroker, but that didn't work out. Thank God. Because, stockbrokers are just salespeople, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They don't represent the companies at all. So
that's it.
Okay, bud. Best of luck to you. I think you're making a wonderful decision. I just go all in on yourself and put your blinders on. It doesn't mean you can't hang out with your friends, but you will have to find a higher set of friends. You still keep your original friends. I still have them.
Yeah.
But we don't relate. All my friends, I love them to death, but they're all terribly out of shape. Most of them are broke, and I still love them. But I have different sets of friends. I have my financial friends. I have my school friends I hung out with, and I have my sports friends. We do fantasy football, and they think they're killing me when they take my $25. I could care less. I donate it. I don't care. It's I do it because we have a childhood kinship that we've connected, and that's what I want to do with it. So you'll change and evolve, but I'm just telling you, man, God, if I could have invested myself at your age, oh God, I don't know what would have happened, man. It would have been crazy. So do it, man. I'm just telling you, you have youth, and that is the biggest asset you can have. What you decide to do with that time is completely up to you. I've already given you the roadmap with me. I did it the hard way. My son did it much more direct. And now we're pressing it down to people like you to really push it over the top. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Rick. That's all.
Okay, man. Go get it.
Appreciate it.
See ya. Okay. Let's see here. I missed a couple questions. Oh boy. Wow. Okay. Okay. Nolan, what's going on?
Hey, Rick, thank you so very much. God bless you, man. Hey, listen. So I've been doing this for about 5 years already, and I have only done 3 good.
Nolan, I lost you. Nolan, I'm going to come back to you. You're froze. Ismail, you there?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, Rick? I didn't even realize this is how this thing worked.
Have I spoke to you before?
No, you haven't.
Okay, let's go, man. What can I help you out with?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm just struggling to get back into it. I did it about 8 months ago, and I was cold calling. I was calling people, and I think what I really failed at was with the follow-ups. Because they were like, yeah, I do want to sell it. I would talk to them, and they were like, yeah, talk to me like next week. I'll contact them next week. And then the next week comes, and they don't sound motivated. And I got a lot of that. The market I was hitting was here in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Scranton.
Yeah.
Okay. Scranton.
Yeah.
The Office, right? Yeah. Dunder Mifflin, right?
What was that?
Isn't that the Dunder Mifflin show? That's where they always say they're from Scranton, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they got the little stores over here.
Okay, so what can I specifically help you out with? What?
So I guess in the follow-ups, I always find myself kind of stuck on what else to say after they're saying they do want to sell it, but they don't sound motivated. Is that like the wrong lead? Should I just like give them more time?
So the first thing you have to do is you got to understand, you got to find motivated sellers.
Right.
Because I can already hear in your voice, everybody wants to sell a property to a point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, there's some properties you make me the right offer, I'll sell it too. But we can't play the Price is Right game because that's like, we're not here to pay retail. So everybody wants to sell their house. Everybody wants to. We all agree with that. You're only looking for the ones that need to sell it. And once you get that distinction and you understand it, you won't waste your time on the wants, because you will never convince the wants to sell your house for a discount, especially at the wholesale discount we need to go on. That's it. So if you spend your energy trying to convert once, you're going to burn out of the business every time. It's the number one thing that takes all wholesalers out. Stop trying. You are not a realtor. You cannot convince them. Realtors convince homeowners all day long to list a property. Why? Because usually they give them some crazy promise, some crazy price, and then they come back to them a month or two later and go, listen, I tried. I have an offer. It's a good starting point. Oh my God, that's 20% lower than what I listed it for. I know, but the house has issues. I want to talk to you about it. By then, they've already committed to sell it, and it's a big game that's played. So you're not a realtor unless you want to be a realtor. I don't want you to be a realtor. You have to find people that need to sell their house. How do you do that? You have to focus on government lists and lists with the highest priority, because you can call tens of thousands of people, especially FSBOs. It's frustrating. You can call an MLS. It's extremely frustrating. What list did you mostly call off of?
It was on PropStream, and I was hitting the vacants and the out of state owners. They were all free and clear.
And how many calls in that 8 months do you think you totally made, or like how many contacts? Be honest. Yeah. Now,
So
how many people did you reach out to? How many leads?
How many leads? Well, I was tracking my phone calls, and in one day I was getting anywhere from 60 to 80 calls. And I did that for about a month. So whatever that turns out to, like 4 days a week.
You were making those calls, right?
I was making the calls like on the Google.
Okay. So
let's say 65. in a day. That's what I was doing.
So let's see.
Just Monday through Friday, or well,
Yeah.
I wasn't hitting like every single day, Monday through Friday, but
So that just comes over to like just around 8,300 leads you call on. I'm just gonna tell you, it takes a lot more. I'm just you're not even. I know it sounds a lot, but my suggestion is just start at freewholesaling.com and understand in the beginning you need a massive quantity of leads and you have to work through them as fast as humanly possible. Why? Because you don't have any momentum, especially if you're going to start over again.
right.
I would concentrate more on the government list. You can use the PropStream list and stuff like that to fill your voids to make it going, but you just have to get extremely disciplined and get through them, because in the beginning you just don't have any leads and you have to work through it. And then stop trying to convert people that want to sell their house and just isolate the ones that need to sell their house. And those are the ones you spend your energy on. The ones you can talk to them for 16 hours. They're not going to change their mind.
Yeah.
Trust me, I tried every one of them. I thought I was going to quit after a year or two. And then somebody sat down and goes, why are you messing with these people? I go, well, they want to sell their house. They go, say that again. They said they want to sell their house. And a little birdie told me, Rick, you need to find the people that need to sell their house. Once I made that distinction, my whole world changed in wholesaling. I don't spend time with people that want a wish list on their price. Go mess with the realtors. And then I train my realtors, when you get tired of that game, call me and I'll make an offer on it. And that's it. The first 2 years, I had to push every lead through my system. After 2 years, leads started coming into me very naturally, to the point now I do 5 or 6 deals a month with zero effort from me at all, just because of all the contacts I have. Now, we still push hard. Don't get me wrong. But remember, when you just start out, you have nothing. So you have to keep going through. I tell everyone, use your 10,000 leads in PropStream batch, and then go find another 10, 12,000, whatever you do. Use SMS, use a multi-dialer, whatever you got to do, reverse driving for dollars and driving for dollars, and just go crazy, because that's the kind of effort it takes in the beginning. And you're not going to get this information from any gurus or any coaching course, because the most they're going to do is tell you, hey, go ahead and do direct mail. It'll accomplish what you want to do. Well, not only do you got to pay them 5 to 10 grand, then you got to pay 5 to 10 grand a month in marketing.
Yeah.
And then you get a deal 3 or 4 months down the road and you're like 30K in the hole. And you go, no, you won. You got a deal, Ismail. I'm like, no, you didn't. Because now you're going to have to depend on this. You can always add direct mail. I never push you guys to do direct mail from the beginning, because you need to learn to talk to as many homeowners as possible. So you're gonna have to blow that list up, Ismail, if you really want to get going, because you already know 8,000 plus is over 8. It's not going to cut the mustard. It's just the truth. So a lot of people like to pick up the texting because it is pretty cool for a one-man army. I got to be honest with you, because you can. I got to tell you, when I first saw texting came out about 4 or 5 years ago, when we did it, I was just blown away with what we could do. And it's a little bit more saturated now, but it still works very, very well. And so look for avenues that you can really blow up and crunch as many leads as possible. I get it. Cold calling on one line for that, it is challenging. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah. So if you want to do the volume on cold calling, you just got to step up and pay and get a multi-dialer. It's like $100 a month, but it's well worth it. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So you just need more leads. And a lot of these answers, guys, are very simple. Coming from a guy who's gone through every struggle you guys have been through, leads fixes everything, because it has a twofold approach. It gives you more opportunities, and you learn how to talk to sellers because you get really good at it after a while. And after a while, there's not an objection that even bothers you anymore. It's the same thing over and over again. Does it make sense?
Makes sense. I think you told me what I needed to hear, Rick.
Yeah. So go back through freewholesaling.com, and then you just got to find a way to reattack this. But I understand the other way you did. It's like that was at best part-time scraping it. And I know, but you didn't use the right tools, and you just weren't thinking enough quantity. You have to. And now starting over, you're gonna have to push really hard.
Yeah.
But when you get pushing hard, and after 2 years, it's not that you take your foot off the gas pedal, but then you have the funds to do the things you want to do, direct mail. You can staff people up. You can hire cold callers. But in the beginning, when people hire their own cold callers stuff, that's when you really get killed. So Just volume, volume, volume.
I'll focus on that, Rick.
Okay, bud.
All right. Thanks so much, man.
Okay, I'll talk to you. Okay, Novin, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
You're
Thank
not
you so very
frozen
much.
anymore. You're not frozen. You were like.
I'm inside a jail, just getting somebody out. Listen, thank you so very much. You have one of the best contents out there. I went through. I'm not going to say names, but I went through literally just from being ready to retire from doing landscaping for 11 years to blowing over 260 just in training. And I came through you, and I'm like, oh my God, like everything is literally like right here with you guys. And I'm just like sending it left and right to all of the people that I know. Like, listen, thank you so much. Now, I have done 3 subject twos, and one of them I really make a good profit on it, but I did it long term. So I did it on a sell on agreement for deal or land contract. So I got 3 other properties in Michigan that I'm doing the same way now. One of them has an encroachment issue. I want to cash it out so I can put more value into this. Right now, I was just doing your the schedule that you were saying. I was just literally just working on that this morning. I got the batch list to get my skip tracing, because my skip tracing was really bad, and then I realized it was because of that. My info is good now, so I got the batch dialer as well. So I'm working on that, and tomorrow starts my calendar as by your schedule, like the schedule that you gave me. Good. So I'm working on that now. I'm starting all over because my training that I was doing. Go get it. Because the training that I was doing, all of these mentors had me like, everywhere, But then I came to you, and I'm like, I just got one focus, and it's doing this training to make this happen, because I'm literally just like running out of my last, couple of thousand. So I want to just invest it the right way this time. And I have 2,000 leads, and I've been driving for dollars. So I got about 450 driving for dollars around Orlando area, and Lake Wales, Winter Haven, Claremont. So I've been having a lot of driving D4D leads. So what would you tell me to just go ahead and do my next step? Or
so you got the driving for dollars down. I would. So are you doing this local or virtually?
I'm doing it local. Well, I'm in Orlando, and so I'm a realtor, and I'm giving my license up. I literally just stopped that, so it's going to be going this month.
Yeah, you finally listened to me, huh?
Yeah.
You realize the license is a double-edged sword in wholesaling. Like a lot of people think it fixes the problem. Actually, it starts a lot of problems. I have 3 people that recently came to me. Someone told them to get their real estate license to cover their butt. And they said they have to renounce their license because they're getting so many complaints from realtors, title companies. And they're on their 3rd broker now. And I go, listen, I told you, like, what we do, if people don't understand what you do, they just report you. Yeah. So, and I've been reported, probably 100 times. And here's the beauty is I don't have to explain to realtors what I do. If the realtors aren't involved in the transaction, I don't owe them an explanation ever. Unless the homeowner wants me to help explain it to them. Because realtors always try to talk my sellers out of deals. And so for that reason, it's one of the main reasons I don't have that license. Plus, it really is a mess in marketing because you got to disclose to everyone you're a realtor. Yes. And a lot of people that come to me, it's not that they don't like realtors. They just don't trust realtors. They've had a bad experience in the past, and they just want a cash buyer to kind of get it done. So my suggestion is going to be, it's going to be really shocking information to you, Novin.
Is that good?
You got to get the government list and go crazy on them.
So last Friday, I went through the court records in Orlando, Orange County. Yeah. And I sat there, and they one. So I put the whole list, and actually I was sneaking my phone, and I was taking a screenshots of it, so that way I don't have to like write them down. So I got all of those addresses, and those are the ones that I got sending letters tomorrow. Now I went all the way back to February the 1st. You think that was like too far out, or?
No, I mean, it's not that far. Just the fresher you can get on probates, but don't forget about your code violations, your tax delinquencies. I mean, these are the type of lists that are going to have the highest probability for you. Like, remember, you need to find people that need to sell their house. It's easy to find people who want to sell their house. Find people that need to sell their house, and then just focus all your efforts on those, because trying to convince people who want to sell, it's a waste of time.
Okay, so code enforcement, code violations.
Code violations, probates, tax delinquencies. Get those three on there like yesterday.
Okay, all right. How do I get? I'm structuring a subject to deal, which now the listing expires. Um, so I'm having a meeting with them on Thursday. It's $320,000. They have a $260,000 mortgage. I'm going to be getting it for 289. Subject to, I'm going to be doing 20K down and the rest of it. But I'm having a little issue with trying to structure it like the right way.
So are you buying that one?
Yeah, so I found a buyer because I work with a lot of Latino communities. So I found a Latino guy that has $50,000. So I'm pretty much coming in with 20, and I want to be packing in the rest of it, and still make it work for them.
So, but you're not using your 20K, right?
Well, I'm trying to use his 20K.
There you go. So, guys, I want you to understand what he just said, and a lot of people don't talk about it. Is if you focus on your own. If you focus on markets where you have similarities, like, so I'm in South Florida, like a big part of the community I live in is bilingual. And the further I go south, if I get into Dade County, it's more like 65, 70%. If you don't speak Spanish, you're a dead man walking, especially as a wholesaler. Broward County, it's about 40%. Palm Beach is about 30%. It's about 20% where I am. But knowing this and understanding it, you can do simple things, like you can convert your contracts to the native language. It makes people very comfortable.
I'm working on that.
Yeah, so you can do that with AI very simply, or for $5 or $10, you can have someone just convert it for you, word for word.
Yes.
You remember the translation is a little bit different because it's not word for word.
But, yes, exactly. Because I translated myself to Spanish and I translated using AI, but some of the terms I still got to kind of like switch a couple of things. But
I know. But so did you know that like in the state of Florida, you're supposed to put the contract in the language the person's most comfortable with, meaning that's native to them. And if you don't, they can actually get out of the contract. So what I'm saying is regardless of what heritage you are, stuff like that, like we have a big Creole population in South Florida, obviously Hispanic, and people trust their own community. And if you can help people out and help them with that, it's phenomenal. Nobody ever speaks about it. So like kudos to you for actually doing it and actually realizing it. And I would go ahead and convert your contracts, have two types of contracts. Some people speak perfect English and Spanish, which is amazing because I speak Spanglish. That's about as good as I get with it. I can understand it. I just can't say it.
Yeah, I get it.
Don't speak it real fast to me and embarrass me online. But like so I have family that's Hispanic, so I have to understand it. So like I get there because they all start talking like they're always trying to figure out what I do, and they speak in Spanish. So that's awesome. And honestly, if you have a family member or somebody in your staff, you can actually cater your marketing to it too. Bandit signs, sticky notes, all that stuff. So, and then you reverse
so they can do it for me, or
what's that?
So they can do it for me. Is that what you're saying?
Listen, you can convert a contract with a simple Google search. It's a piece of cake.
Okay. Yeah.
So you speak, obviously
Spanish.
You speak two. Yeah. And you speak English very fluently. So you give people the option. People love someone that habla español. Like
and I do a lot of this is why my main focus is pretty much being my Spanish community. And now I got like Zach. I got 3 people in one in Fresno, one in Stockton, California. So they're actually doing the D4D, and I'm actually doing going to be doing the call calling.
Okay. Well, yeah. Oh my God, especially in Spanish. So that would be amazing. But I tell you what, hit me up if you ever want to do a deal together. I would love to do something with you. I think you're a creative guy.
I need that. I did.
Okay, go out and get those lists. You're cutting off on me, and you're froze again, Melvin. Okay, I lost. I lost him. Winston, you fell off too here. So let me answer some questions online. So Mariana asked, I closed on my first deal and the seller gave me 5 lots to see if I can find a buyer for them. How would I market them? She has no idea how much to ask for them. Well, if you're talking about 5 lots, so you're talking about vacant lots. So I have a ton of videos on how to sell and wholesale vacant lots. I would first check that out. But the reality is you just got to see what the lots are selling for in that area. One of the best ways is go over to listrei.com, look it up, do your research on there. And honestly, what I like to do is find a local realtor in that area that may be selling those lots because they all sell for cash, and find out what the number is. And honestly, I would find cash buyers in that area and see what they're willing to pay for those types of lots. Because if you reverse engineer it, you find out what the cash buyer will pay for that lot, quarter acre, half acre, acre, whatever it is. You can structure your offer. Because I find this, whenever they say the seller has no idea how much to ask for them, it's a twofold question. Number one, they know exactly what they want from it. They just don't want to tell you, and that's their poker face. Or they actually don't know what it's worth. So find out how long they owned it for. Sometimes people buy lots for 10, 20 years and they just forget about them. I do it all the time. I like to buy a lot and forget about it 10 years. That has nothing to do with wholesaling. That's just land banking. And honestly, say if I bought a lot for $3,000 and then somebody offered me $6,000, sometimes I think in my head, wow, I just doubled my money. But they have a buyer that's going to buy it for $10,000. Who works out better? It's whoever does the most intel usually has the upper hand. So you got to do as much intel as possible between local realtors, the internet, listrei.com, and whatever resources you can use, bard.com, chatgpt.com, and just go with it. But I find when people go, I have no idea what it is. Sometimes little old ladies or little old men don't really know what it is because they own the house so long. Or sometimes it's just kind of a bluff. They're trying to test you to see what you're going to make an offer. So always go with the go for no offer, because you could always bring your offer up. But if you offer too much, you cannot go down. So do a little research and just make a low offer, and hopefully you'll have a cash buyer on hand. That'll work out well. So Don asks, would Google My Business help? No, nobody in wholesaling, it really doesn't. You just don't want any negative reviews about you, but people are people. People put whatever they want on the internet. So it doesn't make that big of a difference as a wholesaler. Let's see here. Okay. Guys, I think that's about it. So do me a favor. Let me take this off here. Guys, if you want to get started, go to freewholesaling.com. It's on the bottom of it. It's scrolling on the bottom. That's the best place to start. We'll teach you how to get into wholesaling 100% free, your first deal up to your first $100,000. And guys, it doesn't stop there. That's just where the relationship starts, because me and Zach have spent almost 4 years now just giving you guys everything we can humanly for free. And we developed free wholesaling. It will always be free. I will never change that, because I'm tired of people BSing you guys and telling you, you got to do this. Don't let AI fool you. Do not buy from people just trying to figure it out on their own. Make sure you stick to the big 4 companies and you follow them and you keep it up and you use it to fill your pipeline. But remember, it's you that's going to have to connect with the seller. So make sure you understand it by going over to freewholesaling.com. We give you examples. Go back and watch this video today. And remember, it's about the quality of the questions you ask AI, and you get better and better. And then once you figure out a question that works and you figure out a market, number one, use it all the time. And number two, share it with us, because we can all learn and we can all figure out AI together. I'm tired of people trying to sell everything on AI. Guys, listen, if you got value from today, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button. And for God's sakes, make sure you subscribe to the Rick Ginn channel. I do one-off content here that I only put on the Rick Ginn channel, and you only get it if you're subscribed to it. So do me a favor, before you get off this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It helps me, and it helps you find other people that are like-minded, that really want to understand how wholesaling works and get through all the games and the BS just to get your first deal and get you your first $100,000. I promise you I'll do that. And guys, make sure you check out my son's channel. It's at Ginn. And then we are on live together Thursday. Zach will be back on tomorrow on The Flip with Rick, 1 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll be on together Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in there, guys. Have a blessed one. Go out and get deals and keep it real, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.